invite Mr. Sanjiv Maini, Scientist E, Metallurgical Engineering Department, BIS, to share his wisdom with us.
Good afternoon, everybody. Respected dignitaries on the dais, delegates, and ladies and gentlemen. So today we'll be talking about standardization in the steel sector. So start with just a brief background from where BIS started. BIS started in 1947. At that time, it was known as Indian Standard Institution. It had limited powers, so to strengthen it, Bureau of Indian Act was passed in 1986, and that gave a statutory status to BIS. Recently, this BIS Act of 1986 has been revised. It has come out in 2016, and now BIS is the national standards body of India as per this act. Most of you must be knowing BIS having its headquarters at New Delhi, and we are having regional offices at Delhi, Calcutta, Chennai, Mumbai, and Chandigarh. Along with that, there are 33 branch offices. Mostly each state has at least one branch office, and some larger states like Maharashtra even has 3 branch offices. Along with that, there are chain of testing laboratories which BIS is having. Like there are 8 laboratories which BIS is operating, and we have a training institute located in Noida. So these are the major activities which are being done by BIS. The first and foremost is the standard formulation, certification, hallmarking of gold and silver, laboratory testing, system certification, ISO, EMS, international cooperation, and training. So coming to the standard formulation part, BIS is formulating standard in various fields. Like we are having 15 division councils which deals with different engineering classes like chemical, civil, electrical, electronics. And what is interesting to us is the metallurgy engineering department. Most of the standards of steel are formulated by MTD department. Some are there which are formulated by civil engineering department also, like HSDS bars. So this is just a statistical glance of the work done by MTD department. Till date, we have formulated about 1650 standards, out of which 733 standards are the product standards, 489 standards are the method of test, and rest are code of practices, terminology, dimensions, and others. So what is the benefit of standardization steel? I think we need not discuss much on this. It has already been discussed. It helps in better communication. Suppose there is no standard, it becomes very difficult how you order the steel. You want a grade, now there is a grade E250 present in IS 2062. You can say, I want this a grade E250. I want this much strength. Suppose there is no standard, how will you order? You have to mention each chemical composition, each property. So it becomes very difficult to order the steel. It helps in variety control. There is a fixed grades available. It's not that E250 is there, then E350 is there. It's not that anybody will come and say, I want E260 grade. So if there is no standard, there is no limit. There is every customer will come with a specific grade that they want this grade. So these all are the advantages of standardization steel. There is interchangeability, interoperability, safety, repeatability. So MTD department formulated this standard under 20 sectional committees. There are 20 sectional committees dealing with different subjects. Like there's MTD 3, which deals with mechanical testing of metals. 4 deals with wrought steel products. And 6 is for pig iron, cast iron. 7, 8, 9, they deal with the non-ferrous metals. 10 is for precious metals like gold and silver. MTD 11 deals with welding journal. MTD 13 is for ores and raw materials. 14 is for foundry, 15 refractories, 16 is another important committee which deals with stainless steel, alloy steels, and forgings. 19 again deals with steel tubes, pipes, and fittings. So these are the list of the committees. Different standards are formulated by the different committees. So how the Indian standards are formulated? Now, many times there is a misconception that BIS formulates the standard. BIS doesn't formulate the standard. BIS only gives a platform where all these stakeholders sit together and formulate the standard. The only person in this formulation committee is the member secretary, which is from BIS. Otherwise, there are consumers, industry, technology experts, government bodies and regulators, and academia. So all these people, there is a set of about 25 people which sit together and formulate the standard, and BIS only provides them a platform to formulate the standard. So this is in a brief standard development process which is being followed in BIS. Anybody in India can suggest a new work item. They can suggest that the standard is not available for this product, for this technology, and they can propose a new work item. This work item, the first draft, he will submit along with the work item. This is then circulated to the sectional committee members. The sectional committee members goes through this draft, they give the comment. Based on the comments received, the draft is modified, and what we get is a P draft or a preliminary draft. This preliminary draft is again then circulated to the committee members. The committee members again give the comments. Based on the comment received, a meeting of the sectional committee is organized, and in which all these comments are deliberated in detail. Any comment will not be left discussed, and I would like to inform another important principle which is followed in India by BIS is the consensus principle. Like, we try to convince everybody that there will be no voting in our standard formulation process. Everybody, either you get convinced or you have to convince the other person that the standard being formulated, the requirement being put is correct. So a meeting of the sectional committee members is organized. The P draft is discussed in detail. The comments are resolved, and then we send this draft for wide circulation. During this wide circulation period, the draft is put on BIS website, and anybody can comment on this draft. So at this moment, the draft is in public domain, and it is available for all the people of India to comment on this draft. After public circulation, again, we receive the comments, which are again discussed in a sectional committee meeting. The sectional committee meeting takes a decision on the draft, on the comments received. Accordingly, the draft is modified, and what we get is a national standard. Now, what happens is that once the standard is formulated, that's not the end of it. All the standards which are formulated, they are continuously reviewed. As per the provision of BIS rules, every Indian standard shall be taken up for review at least once in 5 years. So even if a standard is 1984, it's not that till date, if the 1984 year is continuing, it has not been reviewed. Every 5 years, the standard is taken up for review, and the sectional committee, the members take a decision on this. It gives 4 conclusions to this. Either they reaffirm the standard, they say the standard can be continued in the present text, or they suggest the standard is outdated, we need to revise the standard. They may suggest there are some change in the standard and we need to have some amendment to the standard, or the people will say that the standard is of no use because the technology has changed, and they may consider the withdrawal of the standard. Besides, BIS also takes active participation in international standardization. Like ISO committees, BIS is, MTD is a member of 59 ISO committees and 1 of IEC committee. So BIS is a P member, which is a participating member. So all the ISO draft, whenever any ISO standard is formulated, they come to BIS. So these ISO draft are also circulated with the sectional committee members. And whatever comments are there, we send it to ISO. So even the international ISO standards, they also take into consideration the Indian viewpoint. These are some of the major sectors. I think this was already highlighted in the first presentation also, which was made by our DDG. Major sectors in which BIS standards are used: automobile sectors, construction sectors, white goods, railways, food packaging, boilers and pressure vessels, electrical steel, coated steel. So all these sectors, there are some set of standards which are being used. Now I will briefly highlight the 2 main committees in which the work of steel and stainless steel is being done. MDD4 is the Wrought Steel Products Section Committee, which deals in the standardization in the field of steel and wrought steel products. So MDD16 is for alloy steel and forging. This the standardization in the field of alloy and special steels and forging. These are some of the steel standards and mandatory certification. Like MTD4 has about 36 standards which are under mandatory certification. Then 2 standards are of cast iron, and 8 standards of stainless steel under MTD16 are also under mandatory certification. So these are I told you earlier, the standards are dynamic. So most of the standards we keep on revising because as the technology keeps on updating. So this is some of the standards which are currently under revision. These are some of the standards which are being formulated, like my former speaker told about electrogalvanized steel. So we are already in the process of formulating the standard of electrogalvanized steel sheets, wear and abrasion steel for API pipes, stainless steel pipes and tubes. So this is not an exhaustive list. This is a few standards which I have highlighted. Some of the recently revised important standards we have revised we keep on revising. We have added a lot of grades. Like recently in 6911, we have added about 83 internationally recognized grades. So we try to update our standard as per the requirement of the industry and the users. So what is our expectations from the industry is that, like I told you about the standard formulation process, the standard at the one stage of the standard formulation process, each person of the industry can contribute to it. But at that point, we don't receive any comments. Like it was highlighted in our earlier session also, that we start receiving the comments only when the standard is being made mandatory. And at that time, when standard is being mandatory, then implementation date is already there, then it becomes very difficult to make the changes in less time. So I request all of you that don't wait for standards to come in mandatory certification for providing comments and also for taking the BIS lessons. Go for it and do it whenever the standard at present, because you are having a list of 140 standards, steel and stainless steel, which are there on BIS website. You can go through the standards and you can give your comments. So I would like to end my session here. Thank you.